goal of enlightenment. Yajna, when we perform, our mind becomes pure. Dan also, when we do, our mind becomes pure. Yajna and dana helps in purifying our mind. Tapas also makes our mind pure, but it is to focus our attention on our ultimate goal of enlightenment. Through tapas, we gain that state of enlightenment. It's very interestingly here it's described. So, perform your duties as yajna bhavana, do tapas also, and do dana. So, when we perform duties, whatever prasad we get, whatever we get internally and externally also, it has to be shared with others. That is called dan. I get wealth, I should share it with others. I get knowledge, I should share it with others. I have talents, I have certain things in me, can be shared with the world around. That is called dhanam. But tapas is focusing our attention on our ultimate goal of enlightenment. So, there are three types of tapas: sharirik, vachik, and mansik. Sharirik means at the level of our body, vachik at the level of our speech, and mansik at the level of our mind. So focusing our physical energy towards our goal, focusing our speech energy towards our goal, and focusing our mental energy towards our goal, that is the tapas. Ekagram tapa uchyate. Tapas is ekagrata, single pointedness, focus. Without this focus, goal cannot be attained. It's like, give an example, I had also given it before, like you thread a needle. So the thread should be single pointed, and then you can put it into the eye of the needle very carefully. Similarly, all our physical, emotional, and speech energy, all the energy of our karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, and antakarana to be focused towards our achieving the ultimate goal of enlightenment. That's called tapas. So now Bhagwan talks about sharirik tapas, then he will talk about vachik tapas, then mansik tapas, and then he will say these three types of tapas are again sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So we should do sattvic sharirik tapas, sattvic vachik tapas, and sattvic manasik tapas. So let us read now. 14th verse. Deva dvijaguru pradnya Pujanam shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam ahimsa cha Shariram tapa uchyate Deva dvijaguru pradnya Pujanam shauchamarjavam. Our personality is made up of this gross physical body, then we have our subtle, our senses, then we have our inner equipment, the mind, the intellect. All this we have to engage in attaining that our supreme goal. So our physical body also should be tuned to gain that state of enlightenment. And that is done by using the body for doing some seva and all. So here Bhagavan says, Deva Dvija Guru Pradnya Pujanam. Pujanam, puja, seva. Puja means seva of Deva, of the Devatas. Dvija, Dvija means the Brahman, Guru, teacher, Pradnya, a wise person. See, Devata, we worship in the form of an idol also, the various, depending on our family and the Kula Devata, one has to worship regularly. It is Deva Puja. Dvija means the twice born. See, we are born once, and then when we develop certain samskar in us, positive samskar, then that person is called twice born. There is a very famous shloka which says that, what does it say? Janmana jayate shudraha samskara dvija uchyate vedodhyayi bhaved vipraha brahma janati iti brahmanaha. Janmana jayate shudraha. That by birth we are all born as shudra only. Shudra means without any culture, without any samskar. But then after taking birth, we are given samskar. In fact, samskar starts right from the time we are in mother's womb. So various samskars are there. Then when we are born, namakaran samskar, and first time the food is eaten, the first time the hairs are cut and all, first time the child learns to write and read and all. So those are all samskar, they are called. Impressions created in the subtle mind and intellect of that child. It's called samskar. This remains throughout the life. So one who has got good samskar is called Dvija. He is twice born. And one who studies the scriptures is called Vipra, wise person. Here, Pradnya means a wise person who has studied and understood the scriptures, Vedas, the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. And one who knows the Brahma, one who has recognized that I am that Brahma, is called Brahmana. In that shloka, Brahmana is not just wearing a janeu, but one who has recognized his own self as Brahma. So here when we say Dvija, is like worship of a good cultured person. Worship means being friendly and serving a good person is a sharirik tapas only. And when we serve and we respect and we revere a good person, the goodness comes into us. This is the psychology of that goodness. If you revere goodness in other person, that goodness will come into us. If we revere some negative aspect, then those aspects will come into us. If we keep thinking of some person in a negative way, ये तो ऐसे ही है, वैसे ही, like people sit and gossip ना, all that they talk ill about other person come into them. After some time you check, you will find exactly, is maybe वही है. You will find the same thing in them also. So, but when we revere and we talk good about other people and find their good qualities and revere them, then those qualities come in us. So this sharirik tapas is with your body, you serve those who are good, be with them, help them, serve them. So that is Dvija Seva, Dvija Puja. Then Guru. Guru is one from whom we learn, who is our guide, who removes all our doubts, removes all our ignorance, and guides us on this path of spirituality, takes us to the ultimate goal. It's our Guru. So Guru Puja is also very important. With your body means serve the teacher. Physically also one has to take care or whatever service is required of the teacher. So Guru, then Pradnya, a wise person. So serve the wise person. Then shaucham, cleanliness. Body should be kept clean. That is also sharirik tapas. See, when we keep our body, our clothes, our surrounding clean, then mind also start becoming clean. So sharirik tapas includes shaucham, cleanliness. Then arjavam, straightforwardness in our actions. Arjavam. See, it is said that whatever attitude we have in our mind, it gets expressed in our body. They talk about body language. Our body language also should be positive. Body language should not be bad language. So body should also start expressing in a positive way. So arjavam, straightforwardness. Then brahmacharyam, self-control, control over our senses, our mind, our body, not to indulge in pleasures too much, to have what I call some balance in our experiencing pleasures and all. That's called brahmacharya. So brahmacharya, ahimsa, non-violence. Try to avoid violence at all levels. Is non-violence. These are called sharirik tapas. So shariram tapa uchyate. So body also should be engaged in the sadhana. Seva, guru seva, dvija seva, pradnya seva, cleanliness, straightforwardness. Body also is engaged. Then the body becomes fit for our ultimate goal. Then such a body, when we sit with this body to do meditation and do other sadhana, it helps. The body also gives us support. So shariram tapa uchyate. Now comes the vachik tapas. Tapas at the level of our speech. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitanchayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. Anudvegakaram vakyam this Vangmayam tapa, the tapas at the level of our speech, is subtler now. But all these three, Sharirik, Vachik and Mansik tapas, to be performed together, in the sense, not one after other, but they are there together. But this Vachik tapas is subtler than the Sharirik tapas. See, our speech is a direct expression of our mind, our thoughts, our emotions. Speech is like in computers also you have those windows, no? You open a window. Yeah? So you have a stored information or you have some site and all. Then you just open it. So it is there on the screen. So there you can see what is there in the site. But then again you close it, then the whole thing goes into that icon and stands there. So our mind is the icon, but the speech is like the window which has opened. It can be seen, it can be heard by others. But what we are speaking is our mind only. Our emotions, our ideas, our thoughts of our mind is given a speech. So, if we can control and we can regulate our speech, it can also regulate our mind and purify our mind. So there are few things which Bhagavan says we should take care of while speaking. Your vakyam, the words which you utter, Bhagavan says should be anudvegakaram, the first qualification. It should not create udvega, agitation in the listener. Whatever one speaks should not agitate the listener. It should not cause excitement or agitation, udvega. That is one condition. If all these conditions are followed, then it is called Vangmayam Tapas. Even if one condition is missing, then it is not Vangmayam Tapas. Then Satyam, whatever we speak, should be truthful. If we have any doubt about it, we should not speak. Some people have the habit of speaking, though they have doubt, but they will speak about it, and that fellow then tells this to somebody else, and that is how the rumors are spread. But if I am not sure if it is true, then I should not speak it. So whatever I speak should be the truth. Satyam. See, if a person follows this even Satyam as a vrata, then the speech gets so purified that such a person, if he utters something, even just utters, that thing also comes true. Even like great Mahatmas, even like Hanumanji and all, if says something, then it comes true. Or even Mahatmas, if they say something, then it comes true. So that is the power of speech, because the speech gets connected to the totality. Otherwise, the speech is connected to our own ego. Our own ego, whatever we speak is connected to our ego. But when we speak the truth, then our speech gets identified with the speech of the totality. It is like God's word. Then whatever is spoken comes true. So Satyam is a very important factor. Then Priya, whatever we speak should be pleasant. Priya, not Kadva. It should be pleasant. Some people, they say Satyam, but very unpleasant things. If it is unpleasant, then even Satyam should not be spoken. Something may be true, but may not be pleasant. Some people have this attachment to speaking the truth. मैं तो सच बोलने वाला हूँ. That means the other person is in trouble only now. Because whatever we speak should be pleasant, and the most important is hitam. It should have a welfare in it. It should be beneficial for myself and others. If it is not beneficial, then that Satyam also is not good to be spoken. If it is not beneficial, then even Satyam pleasantly spoken is also not good. You can think of various examples. Even when a person goes to a doctor and all, certain things may be, then all these factors, sometimes we may not be able to follow it in all situations. Then the hitam should be given more importance. Welfare, not Satyam. Hitam. If it is not for our welfare and for the welfare of others, then even the truth should not be uttered. That is very important. Because the whole purpose of even the truth is welfare, hita. Like for example, we have the